So what niggin do you think they sang for Az Yashir back in the Midbar? I think it was more Karlbachi, maybe MBD, a cappella. What was the niggin they were singing? You read Az Yashir, if you see it in the Chumash, if you see it in the Sefer Torah, you see it has an interesting format. It's not written straight in columns, but there's spaces in between. It's called Ariach al-Gabi Levena, or Levena al-Gabi Ariach, a big brick on top of a little brick, and then a little brick on top of a big brick. What's the significance of that? Just read it like everything else. We find the other shiras, Hazinu, was written in 2 columns. And the Gemara gives us a reason for that. Being that Hazinu speaks about Ma'palasun shel Rishayim, the downfall of the wicked, so we don't want them to be able to have a way back up. So we have it in 2 columns. Sounds like the reason for this shira is for a way for us to climb a ladder, to climb up. What's the significance? We find, you even see it in shul sometimes. You have different minhagim how you sing l'chadaydi. In some shuls, everybody sings it together. Other places, they'll sing the niggin, and then they'll say the stanza. What's that about? In Tehillim, there are some mizmarim, some of the kapitlach that start off mizmar shir, and others shir mizmar. What's the difference between a shir and a zemer? They're both songs. What's the difference? And why sometimes does David Malach start mizmar shir and sometimes shir mizmar? Rav Shimshon Pinkus explains the difference as follows. He says, a shira is a song with words. A zemer is a niggin, a song without words. And he explains, sometimes you'll be reading words, and you'll be reading something, and you'll be inspired to a song to sing those words. That's shir mizmar. First came the song, then the mizmar. Other times, you'll be so inspired, you just burst out in song. And eventually you put it down into words. That's a mizmar shir. Why do you need both? You see, in one sense, a zemer, just that niggin, is more powerful. It's a feeling you just can't express. So then why do you have a shir afterwards? Why do you put it into words? Because you don't want to leave that inspiration. You don't want to leave that feeling. You want to be able to express it. And there are other times where you're expressing something in a shira, and then you're just overjoyed with that expression that you just can't talk anymore. And that turns into a zemer. I think perhaps in Az Yashir, we have both. Az Yashir is written with words and spaces. That's a shira and a zemer. There's a word, there's some songs we say, Ashira Lashem ki gai ga. Then there's a space. Perhaps that space was a zemer that was sung without words. It was just the niggin. But we didn't want to lose the inspiration. We didn't want to lose that moment, and we continued, and that's why it's like steps. Because each one was leading up higher and higher. We had a feeling of inspiration. And then there were words with the song, and then there was just the expression with the song without the words, leading up higher and higher till the ultimate expression of Hashem Yimlech La'olam Va'ed. Throughout our lives, throughout our day, we have times that we want to feel, we want to live, we're feeling life, we're feeling inspired. We have to remember to put that into words, put that inspiration, and make that into a shir, put that into action. And there are other times we have to allow ourselves to feel when we're living our life, to allow ourselves to feel that, and sometimes just to express the niggin, to express the zemer. Have a wonderful Shabbos.